Hello guys, welcome to Bavarian Highway. I'm Miller Simba and today I'm going to review a very special car. Why special? Because it's mine. It might be even nicer than the Panamera that we reviewed last week. Or no. No, it's not nicer, I'm not going to lie. But at least it's a much more famous car, it's much more popular because we have here one of the best sellers from BMW. We have a BMW E46. This specific car here is a 325i with an automatic gearbox from 2003. They released the first model in 97 and then in 2001 they came up with a facelift, and this one is a facelift, but as I said, it's built in 2003. Today I'm going to review some things maybe not so special for many of you because this car is already very well known and there are not so many new things to say about it, but at least I'm going to review it through my eyes based on my experience, because I own this car for 1 year and 2 months, something like this, and I have some experience with it, trust me, because the car did not look like this. It was completely different when I bought it, and I did some changes on it, and I'm going to tell you what kind of changes. But before that, let me tell you why this car is special, because it's really special, at least to me. When I bought this car in March 2020, it had only one owner, and the owner was born in 1929, and the shape of this car was very good. It had only 104,000 kilometers on the clock, and I could clearly see that it was not heavy used. But as I said, it was not like this. When I bought it, it was completely stock. You can see here that this front bumper is a M Sports package. I converted it. It was not like this. Because, so why I did these changes on the car? Well, maybe I should tell you which changes I did on the car. I've started with the most important ones, with the mechanical ones. I didn't want to go into tuning before being sure that the car is working properly. So I started with replacing oil in the engine, with replacing oil in the gearbox, rear suspension, and so many things like this, all these things. And when the car was completely ready for the roads, then I wanted to repair the rust, because as you probably know, this car has a thickness, and the thickness is rust. They get rusty at the rear edges, and I repaired that, but I did it in a very professional way. I didn't scratch the rust and then put some paint over it. I was in a workshop, and they cut it, the metal, they put a new one, they made it perfectly. You cannot see that someone worked there before. And then I decided to paint the sides, so both sides are painted. And being in that repair shop, in that paint shop, I was thinking that it's time to convert it to M Sports package. That's why I have this bumper on the front, on the rear as well, and also a spoiler, a small spoiler, which is also M style. Later on I installed M style rims on the car, but what is still missing, the side skirts. They are missing, they are still stock, but I think I'm going to leave them like that, because the difference between stock and M Sports package is not so noticeable. And the interior, it's still stock, not M Sport. I did some changes. I installed some piano black trims, for example, and gear lever is M Performance, but nothing more than that. Yes, as I said, very famous car. Probably most of you own a car like this already, or at least you have a cousin, an uncle, I don't know, someone in your family who had a car like this before. So you already know some things about it. And being so popular and so famous made me think that, okay, I want one, and I bought one, and I can tell you that it's not so easy to own one like this. Okay, it's easy because parts are cheap, because they are so popular, but on the other hand, so many parts, so many things break because they are old. And this specific lady here is 18 years old, so she's an adult. She can drink alcohol. No, she doesn't drink alcohol, but she drinks a lot of fuel, and often we have an argument that. So I drive a 192 horsepower car, and I have the feeling that I'm driving a very sporty car like AMG or AM or something like this, because the fuel consumption is comparable. But we will get to that topic later on. Let me tell you some specs, So we have a 2.5 liters engine, 6 cylinders in line, automatic gearbox, 192 horsepower. It sounds interesting, and it is interesting, and this engine is a masterpiece. It runs smooth, and it's a joy to drive it, but don't expect crazy figures. I mean, it's still old, it's still 18 years old, and it's not fast. Probably 2020 190 horsepower car is much faster than this. It's not faster, it doesn't have a turbocharger or stuff like this, but it's still nice to drive because you have instant power, you don't have turbo lag, you have that specific 6-cylinder sound from BMW, and it's purely a joy to drive it. We are in the interior. This car is from 2003, as I said. It's an old car. We don't have so many features. We have this climate control, which doesn't come as stock. We have an automatic gearbox and rear parking sensors, so not so many features. I don't know, maybe 6 airbags or something like this. But what made me buy this car was the fact that it was so well maintained, and it is very clean. For example, look at the seats. Those seats are 18 years old. Look at the mats. Okay, I replaced the mats. The original ones are in the cellar, but they are just perfect. I put these ones for the winter season, but I can tell you that they are perfect. Look at the dash. There are not so many scratches, and the dash has a very good quality, and this is something that I really like at this car. You don't hear things when you drive it. It's very smooth, and you don't feel that you are in a 18 years old car. The steering wheel looks good. It's just very simple, doesn't have buttons on it or stuff like this, but somehow I like this thing. It's an old car, and I don't expect to have crazy features in it. If you want a modern car with a lot of energy, you buy a 2021 car, and that's it. This is the gear lever that I replaced myself. It's the original M Performance one, and plastic trims. They are piano black. This one here has a scratch. I was not able to find a better one, but other than that, everything is stock. The seats are okay, are comfortable, but for long trips are not so good because they are a bit too small, and they don't have so good support for the back. But it's okay. I mean, I drove it like the longest trip. It was 1400 kilometers, so it was fine. I could manage it. It doesn't have a cruise control, which is not nice for such long trips, but it was doable. I'm sitting now behind the driver, and his seat is quite backwards, I would say, but it's fine. I still have legroom, enough legroom. Everything is comfy here. I like the fact that the seat itself is very soft, so for long trips it's much better to sit here than in the driver position. At least this is my opinion. I have enough room here, so I have no chance to touch the headliner, even though I'm a tall guy. I think it's not bad because this car is very small. From the outside it's small. I think it is like 4.47 meters, so it's a small car, but they build it in such a way that you have enough space inside. And now we are going to take a look at the trunk. I think we have 420 liters here, so it's quite good. I was impressed because I expected to have something even smaller than this. Okay, it's not so huge, but trust me, it's enough. And I have this option to fold the rear seats from here, and you can carry long stuff. And I did that, and it is quite practical. This is the engine, as I said, 2.5 liter, 6 cylinders in line. It's quite big. It's a long engine. It's not washed, as you can see. It has some dust on it, but it's quite clean from a mechanical perspective. There are no oil leaks or stuff like this. It's just in perfect condition, maybe except this power steering fluid, but this is normal because sometimes some liquid is going out here, sneaking out, but it's just this thing here, which costs maybe 15 euros. I'm going to replace it with the next oil change. As you can see, no changes here. Maybe you can see this red wire here is not cheap tuning or something like this. Don't worry, it's just a device to scare the small animals which can come into the engine bay and I don't know, eat some wires or something. I think I've said a lot of things about this car, about the engine bay, the interior, the exterior and so on, and now it's time to take some runs to try 0 to 100, 100 to 200, maybe top speed. But to be honest, I'm not sure if I want to do that because this is an old lady. I don't want to push it to the red line, but maybe we can try it and let's see if I can reach top speed, because maybe it takes ages to reach top speed, but at least we can try. Let's see how the highway is. So as I said, this is not a strong car, it's not a powerful car, so in order to reach high speed you need a lot of highway, and we must see that. Good, let's hit the highway. That was it. We are lucky. The highway was very clear, so we could reach 100 to 200 kilometers per hour. But for some reason, it didn't shift from the 4th to the 5th gear, so I couldn't reach top speed. I reached only 230. I've tried top speed before, and I reached 240 kilometers per hour. And I feel really sorry for the car because I kept it revved for like 1 minute or something like that at the highest rev, at the highest RPM, but it's fine. I think it will still work after this. Now, as I did also with the Panamera, I want to tell you some things that I like about this car and some things that I don't like about it, because maybe you are like I was a year ago. You always dream to have to own an E46 and want to buy one, and I think it's good to know some things which are good, some things which are not so good. First thing that I don't like about this car, I don't like the fact that this car has an automatic transmission. I think for this specific engine, it would have been much better to have a manual transmission, and I think it pulls stronger with the manual transmission. But as I said, I didn't have so many options when I looked for this car. There were only a few cars in a good shape on the German market, so I went for this. The second thing that I don't like is the fact that they get rusty. I already told you the story. They get rusty, they cost a lot of money to be repaired. The third thing that I don't like about this car is the fuel consumption. I mean, it's fine, you can drive it, it's not so extreme, but this car still has 192 horsepower, and the fuel consumption is like for a 400-500 horsepower car. which seems to be a little bit crazy. If you drive it normally, only in the city, in the winter time, it's like 16-17 liters per 100 kilometers, which is really high. And in the summertime, it's around 13-14. And I must tell you that my town where I live is not so crowded. The fourth one, I don't like the seats. They are not so comfortable for long rides. After 3 hours of driving, you have severe back pain. And the fifth one, I installed aftermarket rear bumper, and I don't like the fact that it doesn't fit so well, but this is just a personal thing. I mean, they usually, if they're original, they don't come with this kind of unpleasant things. 5 things that I like. First one, handling is the best. There is no electric power steering, it's hydraulic. You steer the car moves. If you are in a hurry, this is the best car to take, because you can switch lanes like crazy, like a BMW driver. I'm kidding, but the handling is the best. Then the engine is very smooth, 6 cylinders in line. You like that noise. When you start it, it starts the same even though outside is minus 5 degrees. The third one, I like the fact that even though the car is small in terms of size on the outside, in the interior you have a lot of room. The fourth thing, I like the fact that the parts are very cheap on this car, because they are so popular. You find parts easily. If you want to tune your car, if you want to modify it, if you need some to repair something, the parts are very cheap. And the fifth one is the history of this car. This is one of the main reasons that I don't sell this car, because I like the history, and I think even though I will keep it for some more years, the value of it will not drop, because it has a clean history with low mileage, a lot of all the services made in the BMW repair shop, only one owner before me. So I think if I sell this car, after 3 days I will call the guy to give it back to me. Now we're going to do a really interesting test. It will be our trademark. It's called Coolness test. Why that? Because every time I see the reflection of the car in a building or in a mirror, in a glass or something like this, I like to look at the car to see if it looks good or not. We have 4 levels. The lowest one is pizza delivery boy. Then we have low budget car enthusiast, then footballer, and pimp. And let's see what this car is, how cool this car is. So, pizza delivery boy, low budget car enthusiast, footballer or pimp? Definitely low budget car enthusiast. We are reaching the end of this video. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you have questions, you can always ask me. I can give you information about E46. We can share information about E46. There is a huge community for this car. Now, if you want, subscribe to this channel, like, dislike, leave a comment, and stay tuned, because next time we are going to have a really nice car, something from a different era, something not from 2003, something really cool. You will see. Until then, I wish you a good day and gute Fahrt.